Hello everyone, welcome to Liberal Tarot. I'm Sherry, a blue dot in a red state, utilizing tarot to offer insight into these very interesting times we have going on here in the United States. So I'm really glad that you're here and welcome. The focus of today's reading is going to be about the Washington, D.C. meeting between President Zelensky and Trump. Okay, before I jump into that reading, I want to say a huge thank you to everyone who watched Saturday's reading. It was a different reading, and I was really hesitant about putting it out there, but it was like that energy was so strong and so powerful, and it was like that reading was going to get posted, because if I didn't, I think that I would have just continued getting my readings hijacked until I posted that. So I really appreciate the positive comments with that, and I truly hope that we all get to experience that feeling that I had in that reading. I mean, it's like it was amazing. So once again, thank you. The other thing I want to point out, if you notice I have a shirt back here, we went to Costco today, and they have, I don't know how long these shirts have been out. I mean, I don't know if this is brand new. I mean, they look like they had just been brought out. It's a Blue Wave Hawaiian shirt. And I saw that. I'm like, yep, I'm getting that. Put that in the cart. Because, blue dot, red state, I got to have low-key resistance clothing. And so that's my Blue Wave shirt, Costco. Okay. So if you have Costco near you and you want, Blue Wave, there it is. So, yeah, I thought that would be really cute just to wear, like, as an overshirt over, like a black tank or something like that, or dress, or, whatever. So, to get into this reading, and I'm even going to, I'm going to get into the reading, I promise. But first, I wanted to point out something that, from the first reading that I did about the Alaska meeting. Okay, so I rewatched that reading, and it was kind of it was after the main stuff, and I was just putting out 3 cards just to be like, oh, so and the questions that I had asked was, how does Trump feel about the meeting, and then what's Putin gonna do? Okay, so if I'm going to assume that you all have seen the video of that press conference. Oh my God, from him weaving down that first of all, a red carpet for Putin? Are you kidding me? And then Trump, waddling around out there, and then his cankles and he does not, whenever I say he is melting down before us, wow, I took one look and I was like, holy shit, he looks horrible. So, in my reading, and I've pulled the cards out here, when I asked about what Trump, what's he thinking of this, I got the 9 of Wands, the Page of Wands, and the 8 of Swords. And what I said with these 3 cards is he's stuck. Okay, he's trying to talk his way out of this. It's all about messaging. He's battle weary. And if you saw him, if that isn't what he looked like, he looked like he was not doing well. And the talking, the communication, he couldn't even do that. And then this, restrictions and being stuck. And then I asked, what was Putin going to release, whatever information. Going forward, the 9 of Pentacles, which in the lower energy I read as, it's gluttony, but I read it, in that gluttony, feeling. It's drunk on power is how I read this, and the reaping what you sow. And I think that Putin is about ready to say, you're going to reap what you sowed. So this is the going forward with it's a major arcana, so I'm going to say major news. Vladimir is like, he's going to get what he wants. It's like, you either do what I say, and so he's saying, yeah, he's going to do this. And it's time for you to reap what you sow, Donald. Okay. So yeah, I think that, I think that meeting was, for Putin to make sure that Trump was, we talk about, Trump's handlers. I think actually Putin is his handler. And he's like, let me remind you of what you have at stake. And so at least he didn't give away Alaska that we know of. So anyway, I am going to ask some more questions about that, but I do want to look into how that meeting is going to go on Monday. Of course, my first thought was, oh my God, it cannot be a repeat of what happened the last time. So that's kind of the main reason I want to look at this, make sure that's not a repeat of that just disgraceful display of, that toxic masculinity that came from Vance and Trump. And then you could see like Marco Rubio's soul leave his body, in the middle of all that nightmare. So I want to make sure that's not going to happen again. So that, and the base reading. What else do I have here? Is Trump going to be going to Moscow? I do want to look at that. And then, if I have time, I'm going to talk about this now. If I have time, I will ask about this. If I don't have time, it may be its own reading. But I may just do a check-in. On the Daily Beast podcast, Michael Wolff was on there recently, Trump's autobiographer, or biographer, whatever. And he said that Jeffrey Epstein went to Russia to meet with old Vlad during Trump's first error. And so what did Jeff tell old Vlad? That's something that, as I said, I've got that question here. And if I have time, I'll look at that here. Because I also have, is this going to move the news off the Epstein files for MAGA? And is Trump going to Moscow? And then the main focus is that base reading into what the meeting is going to look like on Monday. So, for entertainment purposes only, I am going to get into what that meeting is going to look like. Okay, let's go ahead and I'll give you one last look at the shirt there. I love that shirt. Okay, so the meeting on Monday between President Zelensky and Trump. What is that going to look like? Oops. If you hear little clicky sounds underneath the one, it's my dog Cuddles, and she needs to have her nails trimmed, but she's thinking that it's time to be fed. So she's down here. What are you doing down there, sweet dog? She's sweet. Okay, get back to this. What is that meeting going to be like on Monday? Okay. For entertainment purposes only, the meeting on Monday, base reading. This is reaping what you sow, planting seeds for the future. Okay. That's the here and now. I always like to put several cards out so I can kind of start getting context in this. The next one, the star card, hopes and dreams. And that's the challenge. Okay, this is coming up in the challenge card. So that base meeting is, I think that this is going to represent President Zelensky. He is going in with kind of like his terms. This is a list of his terms, which has been reported. Ukraine must be at the negotiation table. There has to be a ceasefire, no territory concessions, and security guarantees, including, I believe, the eventual NATO membership. Okay, that is what President Zelensky is wanting. Okay, and the challenge of that is, this is what he wants. The challenge to this is the wishes that he has for his country. Okay, with options. Are you gonna come over here, Abby? Abigail. There's Abby. Is it time to be fed? You want to say hi? She's like, no, I want to be fed. Yeah, you got a little squeaky. I know. Okay. That was my cat, Abby. Abby the tabby. I have 3 tabbies. Abby is one of the 3. So, back to this. Sorry, I got sidetracked with the cat. The energy coming in, the Emperor. So I'm gonna stop. I'm going to come back to this one. Let me pull those down so you can see. The Emperor is either going to be, this is the energy coming in, like the overarching energy. So it's either Vladimir Putin, which I have gotten, Vlad as, the Emperor. could be Donald. It could also be President Zelensky. Okay, so let me see kind of where this goes, and I will come back to that one. Because right now you've got, I really think that this is President Zelensky, and he's very clear about what he wants, and that's also the challenge for him to be able to get what he wants for his country. Oh, yep, this is going to be Vladimir Putin. This is going to be the King of Cups. This is Mad King Donald. And you've got President Zelensky right here in the middle. Okay. So, in recent events, the Hanged Man. Let me come back to that. And things that are hidden. Okay. With this Hanged Man, this is a time of pause. It's a time of like nothing's happening. Things, it can be, you know, like you don't have a leg to stand on, looking at things from a different direction. The recent past with, you know, Donald here, he has been threatening Putin by saying, it's the whole taco thing. It's like, you know, here's the deadline, and then, you know, he rants and raves and gives demands, and then, you know, the deadline passes, and then he blames Zelensky. I mean, we know the cycle. That's what I'm feeling with this. You know, it's almost like Putin is just playing him along. That's really kind of what I'm feeling with these cards here. Putin is just, it's like a cat with a mouse. You know, he's just messing with Trump and playing him to be a fool, honestly. And then here is the Moon card, secret agreements, I think. And let me do, that's kind of what I'm feeling with that. Like things that are secret, things that are hidden, things that are changing. Let's see, what is this Moon card? What is this? And with that, okay, things that have worked on, kind of list of demands. What are we going to be offering of this list? And how are we going to hold on to territory? Okay, a lot of pentacles here with, you know, whenever I asked about the Moon card. And this is going to be like things that they've worked on, things that, like a list of demands, a list of like, this is what we want, what's being offered, how can we hold on to territory? That's really the feeling I'm getting from this. And if you remember in that reading that I did about these, I'm going to call them peace talks, but it's almost like from Putin's point of view, it's the, you know, how can I get all of Ukraine, you know, talks. From both Putin's point of view and Zelensky's point of view, the very same card came up, and it was this one. Holding on to their country, holding on to their power, holding on to what they have. Okay, so that's, but I'm feeling like this is more, let me just take a moment here. You know, I'm going to come back to this, and this centerpiece, it's like, yes, this absolutely could be President Zelensky. You know, he's wanting peace, and the peace is the challenge. Okay, this absolutely could be this. However, the rest of this is all about Putin and Trump. Okay, this can also be reaping what you sow, and it's like it's time to call. You know, remember, whenever it's not that Putin is calling in his favors, Putin is expecting payment. That's what this is. Okay. I was sitting here looking at this going, I don't really, like, I was trying to make this be about Ukraine, and I'm like, I'm not feeling, like, it wasn't feeling right. This is all about Putin, you know, quite honestly, fucking with Trump. And, hey, buddy, I got you. I did you a solid. It's now time for payment. For, you know, if you want to either hold on to political power, if you want to continue with staying in office, like if you want to hold on, you're going to pay up, because we had agreements. And I am going to come back to that reading that I did about a month ago where I was getting those my readings, hijacked, and it was agreements that were made that were never to see the light of day now come to light. That's what, and you even see, like the two dogs here. So partnership here, partnership. And we had an agreement. I worked to get you into office, maybe whatever it is that Putin did for Trump. He's expecting payment. And, this is, if you want to hold on to political power. So, let me ask again. What is, excuse me, what is going to happen at the meeting on Monday between President Zelensky and Trump? What is going to happen on Monday? Base reading. Okay, and with that, talks. Okay, so looking out into the future and talks. Okay. But nothing, this is lack of commitment. I always see this card as, especially in that lower energy of playing at, Trump's not going to take him serious. Okay, this is not going to be serious talks. They're playing at it. It's like, this is illusions, delusions, things are up in the air, surprises. I don't want there to be a surprise like there was last time when he was ambushed. So I'm going to come back to that card. The Foundation, feeling stuck. Okay. I wonder if that's Trump feeling stuck just because I got that in that other, reading. King of Pentacles. King of Pentacles, man with money, feeling stuck. This can be the oligarchs. Maybe the oligarchs are expecting, some kind of, I'm looking over here. Yeah, and I've gotten in that, I also did a reading where it was like, Kingmaker. I made you president. And now Trump is stuck. And this is coming up, the foundation of this. So once again, I'm getting, this is all about, this is more about Trump. Oh, let me do that. And the final card, the Ten of Cups. So, okay, let me just take a moment here with this. The talks, you get these cards here in the very center where it's yeah. Let me kind of piece these together. President Zelensky is planting the seeds for his country about what, hopes and dreams, what he wants for a peace treaty. Okay. He has been very clear. And then the going to DC to talk about it. Okay. It is not going to be it's either not going to be a serious meeting or nothing's going to happen out of that meeting, or it's there's talks, but that's it. There's a press conference, that kind of thing is kind of what I'm feeling. Trump's not going to take this meeting serious. Okay. Then what I get here, and I'm not going to be real attached to this because I kind of shuffled. I was like, oh, wait. I'm going to go ahead and read it, though. I think that this is Trump, or, Putin made Trump, he was the kingmaker. I made you king, and now Trump is stuck. Let me do the Seven of Cups. And what is the Seven of Cups? Things being blocked, choices that are needing to be made about political future, and the fighting that has to come to an end. Okay. With these cards, I'm going to rearrange them because I'm feeling like I'm getting two different readings mixed in here. Okay, so let me do these. These were my Zelensky cards. I'll move these to where you can see them better. Okay, these were my Zelensky cards. Okay, he's coming to have talks in earnest about the future of his country, and his list of what he wants. Okay. And he's not going to accept anything less. Okay. If you notice here, what he wants for his country and the hopes and dreams, with that 10 of cups here of, Ukraine is a prosperous country, and the happiness for its citizens, like, and the security and the safety, and that he is not going to back down from any of that. Okay. That he's standing strong. He has got the world leaders' support. In fact, what he's been doing is posting thank you videos to all of the world leaders, a coalition of the willing who is standing strong with him. I don't know that sadly, I don't know that the United States made it into that. So we'll see what happens on Monday. Okay. So that's President Zelensky right there. The rest of this that came up is, this is all about Trump and Putin. So let me get this in some kind of order here. Holding on. Okay. I'm just going to move these over here real quick. And how do I want to do this? Because this was all about Trump and Putin. Trump is going to be, I'm going to go ahead and put this over with the Zelensky one, because Trump was just playing, like, he's not doing anything to go against Vlad on Monday. Okay, so this was the Trump card, I guess, for President Zelensky's meeting on Monday. This was the Trump card. There's no commitment. There's not going to be, I don't see much coming out of this, okay, on Monday. What is coming up is these agreements that, old Vlad and Don Old have here, and that the Kingmaker, I put you into power. These were the agreements that we made. I'm tired of waiting. Yeah, if you want to hold on, you're going to pay up. Okay, and you've got some choices to make. You either make the right choice, or I'm going to be releasing the goods on you. And then you get this, and Trump is stuck. Okay, he's stuck. Okay, so I'm just going to ask 3 cards. Is this going to be a repeat of what happened last time? Is President Zelensky going to get ambushed in the White House like he did last time? Is that going to happen again? Okay, and with that, the Tower card, okay. And quickly, but then it comes back together. If anything, if they try that again, international support for Zelensky will skyrocket, okay? If that happens. The Tower card. Let me have a little bit more on this Tower card. The burden of Trump, he's got, the kingmaker, the demands of the oligarchs. And the things are like, what are you good? It's almost like we're watching you. What are we going to release first? If you don't do what we want you to do, what are we going to release first? And quickly. So, what is President Zelensky going to do on Monday? And on Monday, what's he going to do? He is going to be this is like sticking to your guns. I always see the Queen of Swords as, she is like, I always read this kind of akin to like the Justice card, like that sword of truth, and she knows how to wield the power, okay? So this is telling me that President Zelensky is wielding his power for his country, and he is not backing down at all. So if they try that same thing, it's almost like he's got a plan. He's a man with a plan and, happiness. He handles this with grace. And I would not be surprised if Trump does that again. He may actually walk out of the White House. There's just this feeling of like he's not going to be ambushed again. Okay. And that he actually will just get up and walk out. Good for him. I hope, and that however he handles the Trump little baby meltdown there, his support soars. Okay. But yeah, the bigger part. Okay, so the bigger part of this reading was not about this meeting on Monday. Trump is preoccupied with what is Putin going to do? What is Putin going to release? That is what was predominantly coming up here. I mean, you saw it was like, okay, here's your 2 cards about President Zelensky in that meeting, but really, this is what you need to know. And so, yeah, I think that if they try to ambush him again, he's got a plan, and I would not be surprised if that plan isn't to walk out, and that his support just soars after if they try that again. I mean, he's already got high level of support around the world. It will skyrocket, okay, even more so, and that's going to make Trump even madder. And yeah, I think Vlad is getting ready to. I mean, this is like, what are we going to release first, there, old Don? That's what this card is. And we know all roads lead to the Tower card. Okay. So, those other questions, I really like those other questions, but this reading is running long, so I am going to, I'm going to bring this reading to a close, and I'm going to do this other reading, and I will release that later in the week, this week. I'm not sure when. I have the Vance's divorce rumor reading that's coming out, and that's actually a really good reading, by the way. I was very happy with how, I was surprised and with that one. And then, and I finally asked the question about Vance becoming POTUS. Tease you that, a little teaser there. And so, yeah, I think that this Daily Beast thing with Michael Wolff and the Epstein files, I'm going to keep all that together. And then in that one, I'll ask about, is Trump going to go to Moscow? So my gut feeling is, I don't think he's going to be going to Moscow unless it's like fleeing the country. But I don't think that he will. He may have intentions to, but I think that it would not surprise me if he's unable to attend for health reasons. We'll put it that way. Okay, so thank you very much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. I'm going to put that other reading up here. I know that I just posted it like on, Thursday? But I'm going to put that one up there. That was real interesting, especially now that we have more stuff coming out. I was like, wow, that reading gives us a little bit more. It's definitely in line with what happened, and it's giving us a little bit more insight into like the feelings in that and the energy, which was, and even here it was, Putin is expecting his payment. And if he doesn't get paid, he is going to release whatever he has on Trump. So, with all that being said, I really appreciate you being here. Another video, subscribe, and I will catch you on the next reading. Have a good day.